I'm excited to share with you what I'm doing in the United States Senate to promote conservative policies when we look at ways to make life easier for American families. Over the past several decades, women have made great strides when it comes to working and becoming leaders. And there are more women in Congress now than ever before. We have more female CEOs than ever before. Women are shaping the direction of our economy and our country as we head into the 21st century. In other words, I think we can safely say that women make the world work. Today, mothers serve as the primary breadwinners in about 40% of all households. But despite this progress, working women all over the United States, they still face many challenges in trying to care for their families. We all know these women, and I'm sure many of them are in the audience with us today. They take their lunch hour to pick up a child from school. They start work early so that they won't have to miss their daughter's soccer game. They work with their husbands so that they can get out the door in the morning. They make sure that their kids are taken care of and they aren't late for school. And I think we all can agree that we need to do more to encourage prosperity for all women, but really especially for these women and their families. It's time for public policy to recognize that Americans are juggling any number of responsibilities at home and in the workforce. I've been encouraged by the interest shown by the White House in addressing the challenges of women in the workplace. And to that end, I've reintroduced two proposals that I believe will make a real difference in the lives of women, in the lives of our families. These are the Workplace Advancement Act and the Strong Family Act. First, I'd like to talk about the Workplace Advancement Act. This bill aims to empower employees, but especially women, when it comes to information about wages. I believe workers should be allowed to inquire about how their pay compares with their colleagues, and so then they can make some informed decisions. Too often, people fear retaliation, or in this culture of silence that we have, it does keep workers in the dark when it comes to knowing how they are paid in relation to their peers. So the Workplace Advancement Act would be crucial to lifting that fear. We're going to free up information, and we can help empower women to make the most of their opportunities. Now, let me be clear. This bill is not a new federal mandate. For employers, it would not impose regulations or compel them to disclose any salary information. The bill simply prevents retaliatory action against employees who ask their peers where they stand. Importantly, this idea has bipartisan support. The Workplace Advancement Act contains language similar to an executive order that President Obama issued in 2014. We saw many congressional Democrats who requested this action, and some even praised it. Furthermore, in 2015, we had 53 Republicans and 5 Democrats who supported in the Senate a version of this Workplace Advancement Act. The proposal does have bipartisan support because it promotes a very simple truth, that knowledge is power. When women have the ability to seek more information without fear of retribution, they can more confidently pursue favorable work and wage arrangements. Women will be empowered to use information to better negotiate work situations that make sense for them and their families, to give them flexibility that they value. Balancing those responsibilities at home and at work, that's a key. It's a key that brings me to my second proposal, and that is the Strong Families Act, which I reintroduced in February with Senator Angus King from Maine. The bill would incentivize businesses to offer at least 2 weeks and up to 12 of paid family leave per year. Employers would receive a non-refundable tax credit equal to 25% of what they pay employees during their leave. And that leave would be based on FMLA leave, which would be separate from vacation or from sick leave. And this bill would apply to both salaried and hourly employees, and the leave could be taken on an hourly basis. Over the years, we've seen a public conversation about paid leave, and how it's been adjusted as the makeup of our workforce has shifted. We just saw a recent study come out from Pew, and that was in March of this year. And there's some new data there that I think is very valuable for our discussion on this issue. The study looked at Americans who have taken leave in the past 2 years and also those who have needed that leave or wanted to do so. The participants said that having paid leave for family or medical reasons was the most helpful than any other benefit that they received at work. For some Americans, their employers have already recognized this new reality much quicker than we have here in Washington, and they've changed their family leave policies accordingly. For example, we all know that many large companies are offering really quite generous paid time off for new parents. And these companies understand that offering more flexible options to meet family obligations, that's going to help them to attract and also to retain employees. But as we all know, not everyone works at a Facebook or an Apple. And across America, it's our small businesses and it's our small family businesses that make this country work. For example, you can have a family-run food chain, a franchise in Chadron, Nebraska. They don't have the same means to offer paid family leave that larger corporations do. Additionally, hourly employees would, I think, benefit the most from having this flexibility under this proposal. They know that if their loved ones need them, they don't have to choose then between a job and between family. This is a proposal that would work for them. Employers understand that employees are more productive when they're not under the stress of family matters. Business owners care about their communities, and business owners, especially family business owners, I think, care about their employees. When you have a small business, it's a family. But for many companies, and especially these small businesses, success starts with keeping the lights on. So while a vast majority of Americans believe that workers should receive paid family and medical leave, cost is the most often cited obstacle to enacting any kind of family leave proposal. And that's really why a lot of employers don't offer one. According to a recent Ernst & Young study, 61% of employers with more than 500 employees and 66% of employers with 100 to 499 employees cited cost as either very important or extremely important as a reason in their decision to not offer paid family leave to their employees. This is not a question of if there is a will to offer paid family leave. I think the question is, how do we do it? Employers do not, however, think that the benefit should come from a massive government program that requires new taxes. And the people that answered this survey agree with that. Instead, they prefer for their employers to provide a paid family and medical leave benefit that works for their company's situation. Of 4 policies that were surveyed in the Pew study that I mentioned earlier, 87% of the respondents strongly favored or somewhat favored providing tax credits to any employer that provides paid leave, more than any other alternative. Well, that's exactly what my bill does. As your folks are learning today, and as you've pointed out time and time again, paid leave can be made available without any direct governmental intervention. So I believe Senator King and I have a bill that is the right way to go forward when it comes to paid family leave. Our approach empowers American businesses to make the change while they are still remaining fiscally responsible to taxpayers and also avoiding any government mandates. We do have bipartisan support on this bill. This is a paid leave proposal that can actually find its way to be made into law. While much of Washington has focused on what I call the stick approach to paid leave, pushing new mandates of the creation of new government programs, Senator King and I, we've proposed a carrot approach. And as the Pew study proves, most Americans agree with our approach. As Congress tackles comprehensive tax reform, proposals like the Strong Families Act should be included in that discussion. It's a policy that will provide relief for middle-class families and for working women. In closing, I would like to thank you all again today for having me here. Whether it's equal pay or paid family leave, there are opportunities for Congress to pass some meaningful legislation that will lead to stronger American families and communities. The Workplace Advancement Act and the Strong Families Act will do just that. And with bipartisan support, these bills are possible. So I'm hopeful that we can take advantage of the rare moment where we can find common ground, where we can find that rare moment we can come together and give families the flexibility that they need so that we can look women across America in the eye and say that we heard them and that we are taking action. Thank you.